And hello YouTube, today at powerjackrepair.org we got an MSI Creator 15 MS-16v2, and the problem is the power connector. If you look into the connector here, the pin is missing. All right, the client seems like took the screws out already. It should be coming out, should be coming apart by itself. So the screws here, 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 here. Anything here? Nope, nothing here. One screw under the factory seal. And let's take it apart, see what's going on here. All right, so yeah, the good thing is the first thing you want to do is disconnect the battery from right here. So they did it right. Strange, the battery cable is too long for this. Maybe it's a brand new battery. The connector should be right here. Okay, so let's see what else did they... No, nothing else seems to be... Everything else seems to be in a perfectly right shape. Okay, so let's unscrew this guy here. All right, let's unscrew that there. So there's only one screw. Should be another one right here. Another one right there. Like that. And take this guy off. Now my concern is something smells like a burnt... Something smells like something burnt on here. Hopefully nothing really is burned, but the smell is there. Alrighty. Now you want to disconnect this guy right there. It will help you if you watch it on a big screen TV. We do recording in 4K, so all the quality should be there. If you put this video onto like 50-inch TV, you can see pretty much everything in extremely good detail. Alrighty, speaking of detail, I just adjusted the focus a little bit. We spent so much money on the video equipment that it's not even funny. And it doesn't wanna do the autofocus well. So everything has to be done by hand. Here we disconnect this cable for the fan here. Alright. Alright, so that cable is disconnected. We disconnect this cable here. And then we disconnect. Alright, so we have this wiring here. That's for some reason interferes with the antenna wires. Alright. So we pull this guy out here like that. Like that and like that. Okay. Alright, so I want to do it slowly, little by little. And right here we want to disconnect this guy here. And like that. Good job. Okay. Looks good, looks good. Okay. Okay, we got so few more screws here. Alright, so that's really interesting. There is this spacer that you don't want to lose. Okay, so we got another screw under the SSD card, NVMe chip, which I don't want to bend. All right. And it's coming out together with the thermal pad. So we set it like that. I probably want to take this guy off. And that's a small screw. Don't mistake it with any other screws. All right. Another small screw right here. All right. Anything under those guys? Well, just the memory chips, but I don't think there is anything underneath those memory chips. All right, can we remove it without unscrewing anything else? That's the question. There are probably screws there and there that hold the heatsink in place. Let's see if it's coming up here. I guess I need to disconnect this cable here for the touchpad and take this guy out, and like that. Now, the reason we show you all those videos because some people want to save money by sending just the motherboard, and that's perfectly fine by us. And if you send just the board, it's going to be cheaper than if you send the whole laptop. All right, let's see. Is this thing, yeah, Creator 15. Good job, Creator. Hopefully you already made your money's worth. All right, so my guess we should have a couple of screws in there, because otherwise the board would be held up in the air. Yeah, I think I need to take the heatsink off regardless. All right. All right, so my screwdriver didn't want to unscrew this screw right here, so I had to do it by hand, which is no big deal. Okay, that seems like that's all there is here. So if you try to lift it up, like that. Okay. Now, I see why we couldn't lift it out. Okay. I see now. There is the cable here, which you have to kind of connect later on either way. And there is this cable here, which you do need to disconnect before you're gonna lift up anything from this motherboard. So we're gonna take it like that, lift up the hinge, and take the cable out. Sometimes the dust gets into those cables and the image get messed up on the screen, so careful with this cable right here. It's really gentle, just, you know, don't breathe on it. All right, so which way do I want to lift up the board? I think I want to lift it up this way, from here, like that, like that, like that, like that, and like that. Flip this guy over, I assume. Yeah. So we flip it over, and we got two cables here on the bottom, which we need to disconnect. One is right here. and it doesn't want to get lifted up. Okay. Yeah, careful with this tape right here, because it will drag the cable out from its position. So you don't wanna mess up the connection or the cable. And it's even glued to the board itself. All right, so once we got this guy out, let's see what we can do for this guy, for this cable here. Definitely not the easiest laptop to work on, simply because we don't want to mess up the cabling, hinges, cables, like that. Okay, so here what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna disconnect this cable as well right here, put it right there, like that, and put this cable right here, like that. All right, so you could send us just the board like that, and we should be able to take care of the connector. Just be careful with this connection here. Be extremely careful with these connections and those guys here. The board is extremely heavy, so try not to bend it. Hold it with both hands. And let me show you how we're gonna desolder this guy. Now, I'm looking at it and it got a whole bunch of components nearby, so we need to insulate pretty much everything. Let's set that aside. Let's set that aside. And like that, and like that. Alrighty, so what we got here is, again, lots of components nearby connector. So I will have to do my best to make sure that those components are not gonna fly off the motherboard when I'm gonna be applying heat to it. So this is going like that. This is extremely high temperature tape. It's not really for sale anywhere. Usually you could just buy Captain tape. The Captain tape is on the link below. And but I use this because it does a lot more protection than the Captain tape. It doesn't melt as easily. The Captain tape I'm gonna put on this connection here, right here, because I don't want this plastic to melt. There's another plastic right there which I don't want to melt either. So we're gonna put whole bunch of protection here like that. All right, good job. On this side, there is a diode that constantly flies off the motherboard. It's used on many laptops, so I know it's gonna fly off. All right, so now we got it. Okay, so now we prepped it for the repair. You know what, just in case I'm gonna add a little bit right here so that it won't be heating up too much on the other side, because other side has components. All right, so here we go. So the goal here is to add some flux, add some leaded base solder. Once the leaded base solder gonna mix with the unleaded base solder, the melting temperature gonna drop. We're gonna use the hot air to get this connector off the motherboard. Alrighty, so what we do here is we add some flux. This is the flux that we use. It's not the best flux, but it's the least toxic. If you want to use a bit more toxic, you can use this guy. It's really toxic, and it's a lot to clean, and it smells pretty bad, and your lungs gonna be like, well, you'll get a lung cancer for sure. Anyways, so here, what you wanna do is power up the hot air, but just a little bit, like 300 degrees or so. So we power up the hot air, and because the reason you want to do it at around 300 is so that the solder would flow into the connection easier, but the nearby components won't be falling off the motherboard. So we're just warming up the board right there, like that, like that, like that. Okay, good job. Excellent. All right, so now that we warmed up the board, we added the leaded solder. We're gonna crank up the hot air up to like 370. And you should be able to get this guy off the motherboard. Maybe a bit more, because this is a huge board and it dissipates the heat pretty well, so we're just gonna crank it up a bit more. All right, and we're starting to fall apart right there. Good job. All right, yep, come on, go away, like that. Okay, and what we want to do is we want to take this huge knob off right away. And what we do next is we reduce the heat so that the nearby components won't be falling off the motherboard while we are removing the solder. Okay. All right. Now let's All right, so this is a desoldering quick. There are different desoldering quicks. Some are good quality, some are bad quality. We use the highest quality desoldering quick. The link again should be below. You should be able to locate it. All right, looks good. Again, we use 100 different types of wicks. This one what works the best for us. Okay. Now we're done with the hot air. Let's cool off the hot air gun. Oh, you know what? Just a little bit here left. So what we want to do is we want to cut that. And let's see if we can get this guy cleaned up here a bit more. You see, without the hot air, it doesn't flow as easily as when we use the hot air. All right, looks good. So let's shut down the hot air altogether. And once it cools off, now we have now the reason why my voice is so interrupted here is because I got the huge exhaust blower sucking all the fumes away from my face, because 20 years of breathing the fumes isn't exactly good for your health. What I have to do now is go find exactly the same connector. As you can see here, you see what the problem was? This is your problem. This is supposed to be part of the jack, which is supposed to be like that, right there. You see? And it breaks off right there inside of the jack, right here. So it's not so much connection to the motherboard that's bad, it's mostly this is the rear leg for the positive pin. So the pin broke off, this guy broke off, everything broke off. You see there's no pin inside. All right. This is much easier job than those guys right here. This is really pain to work with. Alrighty, so this is a brand new piece. It's exactly the same factory as the original one. Looks like that, and it got a pin inside. All right, here. Okay, so let's install the new piece. So what we do here is we flip the motherboard over. We put flux on the top. The reason I put the flux on both sides because I want the solder on the connector to be soldered from both sides. I don't want it to be just on one side, I want it to be on both sides. So here we just add a little bit of solder on the iron, and we're just gonna put some pressure right here so that the connection will be nice and solid. And then we're gonna put some pressure right there. So that the connection will be nice and solid as well. Here we got the rear pin that we're gonna solder quite well. And my personal favorite for this board, for this type of connector, is that I need to solder the bottom in a way so that the negative would be shorted with the support leg. So let me show you. Here I am adding some solder to the support legs on the front. They don't really do anything besides holding the connector in place. All right. The rear one, we're just gonna flood with the solder like that, and the side ones. All right. Okay, good job. And I will show you in a second what I'm doing here. You see I'm shorting the rear two pins right there. That way those two pins is going to be both ground, and that ground, even if one of them gets desoldered, we're still going to have a solid connection. All right. One other thing I want to do is I want to do some soldering here on the top for the ground. That way it's going to be perfect solid connection on both sides. All right. Alrighty. Excellent. Really like the job I did here. All right. So let me show you. You see right there on the ground how ground is soldered through here. The ground and the positive is. well soldered here. I'm just gonna do a little bit cleanup here and a little bit of cleanup right there. And yeah, so that's basically how we fix the connectors on those motherboards. That connector is always in stock. It's a common connector to break. It always breaks in the same place. I thank MSI for such a great design. If it wouldn't be for this connector, it's hard to be in business nowadays. Here, when a local Starbucks pays more money. Okay, looks excellent to me. All right, good job. All right, so now when it comes to assemble, I have to remove the protection because otherwise my whole table would be in this red stuff. All right. Okay, I set that aside. I already cleaned up the come on. All right, so the first thing I want to do is connect this little cable right here to right here. Okay, good job. Close that guy. Second thing I want to do is connect this guy right here. Right? I hope so. I hope that's the... All right. Close this guy down. Move this guy this way. Open up the hinge here. All right. And let's... Come on. Is it in or it's not in? That's really strange. Because it's all on glue, that's the problem. Everything is on glue here. Alright, let's try one more time. Come on. I mean, I'm not sure, alright? I'm not sure that the connection is in fact connecting. I think it should be going a bit farther in order for it to connect perfectly. So Let's try one more time. Okay, last try. Well, if that's as far as it goes, close it down. Does it have a connection? Yeah, I mean, it has a connection. That's the reason why they put so much tape on those guys, because it's hardly sits where it needs to sit. All right, so let's put same amount of tape here. So yeah, for this cable, it doesn't go really far in. All right, let's put it down like that. Let's move this guy this way. Let's move that guy that way. All right, so make sure this guy is guided in here. That sound port is guided in. And here, it's not going in. So I guess the... So let's bend it slightly upwards. Now we guided it in. Like that. And like that. Okay, the holes align here perfectly fine. Let's see if this guy is being guided in. Also not an easy task. No, I mean, this one guided in all the way. That's a good thing. So I wonder if the keyboard cable is guided all the way in, because this guy is going farther in than the keyboard cable. All right, so oh, this one is even more farther in than this one. Oh, all right, let's try and see what we got for this guy. Okay, don't wanna, it got a whole bunch of glue on the bottom of the connector itself. So the goal is to fit this guy in, close this guy right there, and shut it down like that. Okay. Here like that. And close it down. Okay. And here we got something like that. Good job. This one is being guided underneath right there. Okay. All right, so this looks so far so good. Now, let me clean the heatsink here and here. Alright, so the heatsink got cleaned. Okay, so here, let's put this guy here. Good job. I'm not sure when I stop and pause this thing. And anyways, I assembled the whole thing back. And the adapter doesn't seem to work. Oh, strange. The adapter doesn't do anything. And it's strange because it looks like a brand new adapter. Okay. Let me go find another adapter of somewhat compatible amperage. Let's see how much it needs. Oh wow, it needs 11.5 amps. I mean, yeah, let me go find it. All right, so I found another power supply. Let's see if this one is working. All right, we're gonna plug this guy in here. All right. And do we have a charge light someplace? Yeah, we got a light here on the side. Here, let's switch the camera. Right there is the charge light. All right. That's always a good thing. And again, that's the MSI at powerjackrepair.org. Let's see if we can power it up. All right, so the keyboard is connected. So that little connection there to the motherboard, I'm not sure if it was part of the video, if I unpause the video before or after. So hopefully that little thing should be working fine for the keyboard itself. Well, I want to test the keyboard if it's gonna power up. Right now there is nothing on the screen yet. Let me pause the video and see once we get the image. All right, so we did get something on the screen. It was a dragon. Let's see if we can get it one more time. You see, dragon thingy. But yeah, again, I'm not sure if I explained it in the video. This is the reason why we are in business right here. Because this plug compared to my plug, take a look at my plug. And take a look at this guy. Any bump, any leverage, any force on this guy breaks the connector inside. This is not what you're supposed to use for this kind of systems. This is, you see how low profile this guy? And if you plug this guy in there, it's gonna be like that. Trust me, a little bit of difference. All right, so we did get the image on the screen right there. So that's a good thing. All right, let's see if we can test the keyboard. Okay, so the touchpad is fine. And the keyboard responds everything fine. And let's see. The Wi-Fi responds all right. And I want the fans to count down. All right, guys, please leave a like, subscribe, and you guys take care and have a good day. Thank you.